Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Richard Graves, coming at you again. We got two shows this week. Today, I have a very special guest, my friend Mike Spikner, one of my mentors actually from out in Aurora, one of the best DJs from the Aurora area and the Chicagoland area. We're going to be talking with him today. We're going to talk about his career, things that he's done, how he got to where he's at, and we're also going to talk about George and Greg Reddick tonight, two pioneers of house music and dance music in Aurora, period. These guys were the ones that showed us all in Aurora how to get down. They had a lot of connections, West Side Chicago to the Hot Mix 5. So we're going to talk about them a bit. And hopefully we have a few other guests on and, share their thoughts about the Reddicks. So first, though, those of you watching on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to the History of House channel. We're going to keep bringing interviews with different DJs from Chicago, the Chicagoland area, like us, West Suburban DJs, South Suburban DJs that were part of the Chicago House movement that helped push Chicago House along significantly. And we're going to be also talking to guys from New York and Detroit and guys from London and all over the world. So this is just a place for people who have been about house music or dance music that have contributed, for us to tell our stories. So without further delay, let me go ahead and bring Mike Spinnin Spikner on. Mr. Spikner, what's up, brother?
I'm doing all right, Mr. Moon Knight, Richard Graves. Like I said, Mike Spinnin Spikner, probably the only DJ in the world to get put in handcuffs for playing music too loud.
I know. I think a few of us got arrested now for
I
spinning
don't know,
records.
but hey, I went to jail. They literally came, the paddy wagon came and picked me up, handcuffed me, and took me down there on River Street.
Where was you at? Was this at the Progressive? Or
No,
was it a
right
different
there
party?
on Webster Street.
Oh, at the house? They got you at the
Yeah, I never told you that story.
No, man, you never told me. Go ahead, how'd you get arrested, DJ? I mean, we all don't have the police called on us, man, for getting down too loud.
Oh no, they
So
took me
what
to jail.
happened?
They took me to jail. As a matter of fact, they threatened me a couple other times too. Oh no, me, Chris, and it was me, Chris, and Steve and Robert Carter. We was I had done a party somewhere Saturday night. I don't remember where it was. And then we would sit at the house. I said, you know what? Let's take this outside. And we had Jones's Big Custom. They had like two 15-inch whoopers and horns up top. So we took them
Hmm.
outside on a Sunday. And man, I had them set up in the driveway and we was out there just banging. You could hear it all the way over to Miller Street. And I looked up and here come the cops. You knew where I lived at. And I was like, uh-oh, here they come. So they
Hmm.
came, and they like, who lives there? I was like, oh, I do. And he said, well, you guys are gonna have to turn that down. If we get another complaint, we're gonna take you to jail. So, they left. And us being who we were, we turned it back up. And when they came back with the paddy wagon. And so there I was going to jail, handcuffed, and I get down to the police department on River Street back then, and Dwayne Hazelwood was, he was checking everybody in, and he recognized me. He's just like, Mike, what are you doing here? I said, they arrested me for playing music too loud. He's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I'm serious. You didn't know how loud it was either, though. But so sorry.
Man, well, Raw PD, they used to love us anyway, man. Love coming and
Oh,
harass and breaking up the party. Sometimes they'd be cool and just kick back and listen. Or if we hired them for security, they'd be good.
Oh, they threatened me one other time. I was doing a party over at Sumner for a buddy of mine, and we was in his backyard, and they told me if they had a complaint. They said we come back, you going to jail, and that was all I needed to know because I wasn't going to jail twice for that. Hey, it might only been $50, but man, I'm gonna tell you what, $50 was a lot of money back then. A lot of money. I didn't want to have to pay somebody to come get me.
No, that's serious money back then. $50, man. Shoot, that's record money, food money for a shoot. That get you through to a couple
Yeah.
weeks, man. If I wanted that fine. So before
No,
we get all that, man, let me go ahead and first introduce how I met Mike. All right, so I met Spike. I don't know exactly when it was. I had to be either 12 or 13. Mike was already DJing, and I was breakdancing. And you know me, I was always looking to battle people, so I always had to have the newest music. So I remember, all I remember was getting a mix from you of "We're Rocking the Planet" and "The Mexican" by Jelly Bean Benitez. All right, and "When Boys Talk," and you know, I must have had that taped for like years, man. I would sit there. And then after I started DJing, you know, back then everybody was real competitive out in Aurora. So when I started DJing, you know, of course I got put on a lot of music by the Reddicks and Lorenzo McAllister. You know, he would always make me tapes and stuff. And at the time, I think it was you, Reggie Chandler, Randy were DJs. Of course, Maurice was a DJ. I mean, Lorenzo was a DJ at the time. The Reddicks, of course, they were doing their thing. And when I started DJing, I think you were one of the ones that first kind of took me on your wing, and I would come over your house. We'd sit, listen to you mix and watch you mix, listen to you
Back in
play
the black
music, man.
room.
Yeah, in the back room there, man. You know, so tell us how you got into DJing, man.
Well, I always had a love for music. You know, as you can see back here, I still got a love for music. You know, but I had, after my parents had passed away, I ended up having to go live with my uncle. I lived right there on the corner of Benton and Smith, right there. You know, my uncle Hugh Farrell, and I had told him, I'm gonna collect some music. You know, I'm gonna collect some music. And at that time, but before that, I was friends with the Reddick, because I knew them, me, George, and Greg, we went to Waldo together. And, actually, me and George, I mean, not me and George, but me and Greg ended up in summer school together. So we were, always, in touch with each other, but there for a short bit, I kind of, we would see each other, whatever. But when I went to live with my uncle, I was gonna build me a record collection because I said I'm gonna collect James Brown and all that kind of stuff. But one day I just happened to be by the Reg's house and I was down in that basement. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I might have to get into this. So I devised a little plan. I said I'm gonna put me a system together, and all of us were broke. We all came from the dirt. I didn't know. Only
Yeah, you know
person I
about that.
knew who probably, well, Kevin Elliott, I think he had what, 1600s? Match pair of
No, he had those
1600s?
1800s. He had those
Those 1800s.
1800s. Those
Yeah.
yeah, those roll drive. Yeah, so for
Yeah.
everybody out there, a Technique 1800 turntable is also a quartz direct drive
Yeah.
um, turntable. It's just like the 12. It's in that series, except the pitch control on that bad boy is a roll dial, and you
Yeah.
better be. They ain't like a with that fader you can grab on. You better be on point with that roll dial, boy. I remember going to Kevin Elliott's basement, man. You learn how to blend some records if you know you got to be
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Ain't no pushing down. You got to be on. So, but we had fun with those. So, but go
Only
ahead,
guy
Mike.
I knew who probably had 1200s at the time was probably Gus Vera. That's a guy that a lot of people
I
kind
remember
of
Gus.
forgot
Mm.
about, because last I heard he, I had asked somebody about him. He had went out to the West Coast or something. But I said I'm gonna build me a system. So I had a little realistic turntable belt drive. You ain't lived until you smoke the belt one time. And I had my uncle's Sony. It was a direct drive, and I had the little realistic mixer. Everybody had the same up and down and no crossfader. You was big time if you had a crossfader. But and I had a Marantz. I don't remember. It was a 22 something. I don't know, but it had a channel blow down on it. You know, but that was my beginning as far as mixing. It was a nobody could mix on that system. But the thing about those systems that we built back then, even the Reddicks, their early system was, they didn't start with 1200. You know, the one thing I remember, he had a BSR turntable, and I would try to mix on that thing, and I was no good on it, not at all. But everybody knew they own equipment.
Hmm.
But you know, when you look at it, yeah, I started buying records, and just trying. But Greg, he helped me a lot. Greg did. Greg and George, and they seen, that I was trying. They seen it. But even though we were friends too, to a sense. And
Hmm.
I tell you, I remember doing a party, not a party, but I remember Roy Finley, who pretty much gave me my first, let me come out. He let me on at the May Street Park. I didn't have no business on that stage whatsoever. I mean, it was confusing the drive, baby. I mean, it was bad, you know. And
Hmm.
and I kind of got laughed off the stage. It is what it is. So at that point, I just like, you know what? I'm gonna fine tune this. I'm gonna fine tune it. Now, I didn't come out for probably that was in the summertime, and I didn't probably come back out till winter. And I remember, matter of fact, it was the first night I met Lorenzo McAllister. No, it wasn't that night I met him, but I met Lorenzo McAllister. I always heard about him, but I met him. Beverly Dudley was doing a party, and Roy Finley was DJing, and I met. I was with the Reddick, so I ran into them. Everybody always parked across the street at the little abandoned hardware store, whatever that was. And I met Lorenzo McAllister that night. Lorenzo had a pretty good reputation as a DJ in Aurora back then. But it was one particular night. Roy was doing a party. It had to be nobody had to go to school or whatever Monday, so Sunday night party. And I showed back up again, and I told Roy, I said, "Let me get on this time." And and back then, we was mixing, Egyptian Lover, pretty much faster records to a sense. And so I was mixing that kind of stuff, and believe me, when I came back, I was, I wasn't seasoned, but I was way better off, than I was when I first started. Because, like I said, the first time I had no business being on that stage over at Main Street Park. And
Hmm.
the first time I actually went on my own, I was doing a party for Marty Harris's. I want to say it was his cousin. And that night, I met Keith Nunley. Music was
Oh,
the key.
from JM Silk.
Music was the key. Was the hot
Yeah,
record then.
yeah, that's unfortunate. You had to meet Keith Nunley.
And
I'm gonna
I'm
tell my
sitting
Keith
there,
Nunley story in a minute. So, but
yeah,
go ahead.
I'm sitting
Hmm.
there talking to him, and I'm like, he's like, well, he's like, yeah, I'm Keith Nunley, and I'm just like, I was like, yeah, well, okay, yeah, Keith Nunley, yeah. You heard my new record? I said, what's it? Music is key. Oh yeah, I heard it. He said, do you got it? I said, nah, dude, I ain't got it, man. I said, man, I went to the record store, they didn't have it. He said, well, that's strange. I dropped off a whole bunch of copies. Caught me in the lie dead center. And truth be told, I never bought it anyway because, quite honestly, I really didn't like the record.
My,
He caught me
okay,
in those eyes. I didn't
let,
like your look. I don't
let
like
me
your
say
record.
something. Let me say something about music is the key. All right, those of you out there, DJs or people from Chicago, music is the key. First song by JM Silk. I would say arguably one of the first house record off of DJ International Records. I would say between that and Chippy's Like This, or Chippy's Jack Tracks and Farley's Funkin' with the Drums one. But let me say this much about music is the key. A great song. All right, great song for the time that it came out.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but you have to understand. Let me explain something about DJs like Spike. Is Spike has a very discerning ear. This is one of the bad or good or bad habits. How you because there's a lot of stuff that I won't play either because see, I hung around Spike and the Reddicks too much. So if that stuff ain't really like the bomb, your the music got to be just that good. And if it ain't, Spike they man, I didn't want to put on no garbage around Spike them. They start looking at you with that discerning look. You just get up, you be sad, get off turntables. But music is a key. It was a great song. Don't get me wrong. For that moment,
it was.
would I play it now? Not as much unless someone I'm doing an old school set and someone requested it. But let me tell you about Keith Nunley, man. When I met Keith Nunley, this was years later. All right, yeah, I'm gonna tell this story. So don't get me wrong. So I didn't know this dude. And this Keith Nunley was the main one that made me understand that sometimes you don't want to meet people that you've enjoyed their music because they can ruin their whole image of you. They can ruin their whole image of themselves. So Benji hooks me up to meet Keith Nunley. I was trying to do a documentary at the time about Chicago House. Everybody was pushing back. Everybody was too important to be interviewed. Blah blah blah. Benji hooks me up with Keith Nunley. I said, okay, I'll interview Keith Nunley, Daryl Pandy, all the guys. So I go to interview Keith Nunley, man. You would think that I was going to interview Prince, first of all, with all the pretense he had. And at first, you know me, Mike. See, them dudes, they remember I was a kid at the time. So if they see me at the party as I was a kid, so they didn't really recognize that I was a DJ or, in the music like that. So I'm listening to him tell this whole fallacious story. I'm like, dude, really? You selling tickets, cuz, right? And he was acting like, he invented the house music. I'm like, man, look. And so I asked, I don't know what question I asked him to set him off. I must have said something to set him off. It was him with a dude, Paris Brightly. I think I set his ass off too. So they like looking at me, these Chicago dudes definitely like, who is this dude? Why is he talking to us? We are house. So they said some slick. And I see Mike Dane from Roy, they don't know how to get down. So I
Yeah,
said, first off, I told Keith Nunley, I said, first off, man, all right, you did your best. You did your best Colonel Abrams impression on Music's the Key. I wasn't impressed. I said, dude, you had two songs that were halfway decent. After that, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I say, it ain't like you wrote Purple Rain or you wrote Off the Wall.
yeah,
And then I told Paris Brightledge, I said, man, I already don't forget about you before we started. What was it you did again? So the news got so mad because I was like, whatever, so, but yeah, but anyway, that's my Keith Nunley story. But go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry,
uh,
man. I had to tell that
oh
story.
no, we're good, man. We're
All right.
good. Shout out to Roy family because Roy really pretty much gave me my first shout out, and then even when I got that particular party, he let me borrow his speakers because, to be told, I didn't have enough equipment to do it, So shout out to Roy family. Roy always, you know, Roy, but when they really came out to the Reddicks, man, we spent a lot of time together, and I mean a lot of time, and I'll tell you, one time we was at my uncle's house there in Benton, and I saw Greg do something. Sometimes we would do little tricks. We would work. He was way more experienced. I was still green and twisted. But when it came down to music, uh, he done something that I'd never seen. That I didn't hear people do. Like I hear people play this record now. Like the Police when the world is running down, and he mixed Electric Kingdom into that record. When the world is running down,
Wow.
he brought in Electric Kingdom, and when I saw that, I just like, okay, all right, okay, that right there. Let me know that depending on what you're dealing with, no record is off limit. No record is off limit. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember because you had mentioned the Mexican too. You mentioned that, and I had bought that record at I can't remember that record store, but if you came out of Sears on the bottom at Fox Valley, it was right to the right. I don't remember the name of that record store.
Oh, that
And
was music. That was a music land. Remember they had
okay,
two. They had a music land downstairs, a music land upstairs, and then the record land was down by the food court.
and
So that had to be the music land.
yeah, you're right. There was one down by the food court, and I had bought, Jelly Bean, the Mexican, and I'm sitting there, and I told Greg, I had met him. We was at the house. He's like, well, I just came from the mall, just bought a few records, and he's sitting there playing them, and he played the Mexican. He's like, where'd you get this from? I said, oh, I got that out the mall. I wasn't even crazy about this record, because it was, matter of fact, it was brand new, and how it ended up at that record store, it was on a major label at the time, and he said, man, come on, let's go. So we jumped in the car and we went back to Fox Valley Mall because he wanted that record. But I didn't really realize what I had because I think it was still it hadn't really hit, but something about that record he liked. And I remember, like I had told you that is a remake of another record. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people probably don't know that either. Disco Circus, the Mexican. If you play that on there, you'll see where that record came from. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but and I remember though, but we spent a lot of time in that old blue Delta 88 he had. Man, we would stay on the go. You know, but then I'll tell you one thing about them is the first one to, well, the Hot Mix 5 and everybody did parties out at the Alamo. they did parties, but I remember when they done a party. The Alamo was cheap to rent back then, and
Hmm.
they done a party out there, and that was a come up for them. When they done that party out at the Alamo, man, they cleaned up.
I remember that party.
Yeah,
Hmm.
George and his brother done a party at the Alamo, and they cleaned up. I didn't make it to the party, but they cleaned up. Believe me, they cleaned up good enough to where he bought another car,
Hmm.
and equipment. So they were um, they were definitely, as far as I'm concerned, there was nobody in front of them.
Hmm.
You could say what you want, but I'll tell anybody there's nobody in front of them. Yeah, there's a lot of DJs in the world. Hell, there was what you figure. Gilbert Borrego was right up the street. My cousin Chris was right up the street. Bass in Your Face was on New York.
Hmm.
Carlos Partita was right. I could throw a rock and hit his house. And then I was on Webster or something, and it was DJs all over the place, but they were probably the most well known earliest at it, you know.
Well, I'm gonna say this much about George and Greg. They were foundational. Like I said, I know
Yeah, yeah,
Roy Finley was doing his thing because I was at that part. I was at that block party remember they used to have block parties over at Main Street Park. I was
yeah.
over there because I remember talking to you and he let you spin. And shoot, I had my records. I'm like, let me spin. He's like, dude, can you even mix? Which I couldn't. I just want
No, I
to.
couldn't mix. What's the difference?
Well, no, I think I might have been a lot less of not mixing than you at that time because I was
I was
still,
horrible.
yeah.
I can lie, I was horrible.
But I mean, we all started off. I remember, the first time I mixed in live what was it? Lincoln Way Lodge. Renee Delgado, Joe Delgado, they threw a party up there. They let me come spin. Man, I get up here. I couldn't even put two like thises on beat together. Because I was a breakdancer, so I was still trying to scratch and do all this stuff. As far as blending, I wasn't even thinking about that. So man, Tony. It was what's his name? Tony Quinones. Tony
Uh-huh.
Quinones. My own friend Richard Lyder was out in the crowd, and man, as I was off beat, they was like, "Boo, boo!" They put me on stage, man. So it took me about a summer. I remember this summer I got grounded. No, I got grounded actually shortly after that. My mother was dead serious about that. She grounded me for a year. Well, basically, she grounded me from like November to the next end of school year. And I remember I called you one night because a record came out. It was I Like You by Phyllis Nelson. And I called you said,
Right
hey,
here if you want it.
did, yeah, I got three of them because I called you. I was like, hey, Mike, what's this record I heard Julian play it? You told me what it was. So that's back when we could order records from imports and they get them to the house. So while I was grounded for that whole time, all I did was order records from imports and stack up. And, I would talk to you on the phone sometimes and mix. And then that summer when I came back out mixing, then I was on beat. I
Yeah,
finally learned how
yeah.
to beat.
And truth be told, you probably, this new day and age, a lot of guys probably could pick it up a lot faster because it's digital.
Hmm. Well, I didn't have 12s either. I bought them B2s, and those B2s
Okay.
are belt driven. So we all had our own systems. Like I had the two B2s, and I had a little Newmar. It was crossfader, but it only had like two channels. And I learned how to blend on those B2s. So none of us could really. I mean, we could spin on each other's equipment because we had all gotten pretty good at spinning on other things in 12s you know. But we all had our setups. But when they put us also 12s after them setups, we was killing everybody. We was like, oh, really? This is easy.
If you can spit on what we started on,
Hmm.
man, you're gonna be dynamite if you get up to 12. I think I got rid of the realistic belt drive, and I had a Pioneer. I want to say it was a PL 518. If you look it up, it's that turntable will cost you a lot of money right now today because I looked at getting another one just for the living room, and I saw the price of it. I just like, nah, you go ahead and keep that. I'm
What
not
was it?
paying
A
that.
Pioneer what?
I think it's a PL 518.
Oh,
Yeah,
hold
it's
on.
a
I'm gonna have to
Pioneer
show this.
turntable. Yeah, I had one, and uh, it's not a cheap turntable, but it's a damn good one. It ain't a 12, but it's a damn good turntable. I tell you, if you had to, you could play with two of them. It's not like a 12, but you could play them if you wanted to. You know, so it was when you really look at it, the equipment we had it wasn't even great equipment, but it's all in how you put it together. Now I might have to run this channel a whole lot higher than that other channel. And Gus Vera asked me that one time. He's like, yeah,
Oh,
can you
here it
do that,
is.
bro? Huh?
There it is, Mike. I think I got it. Yep. That's that PL right there.
Yep. Yep. I've been looking at them, but I'm not gonna pay the price that they want for them. They are pretty expensive now.
Does it got a pitch, Mike?
Yeah. Yeah, it
I'm
has a
trying.
picture. Yeah.
Oh, I see it over there. I see it over there. I think I remember seeing you with this turntable when
That's
I
a
would come
beautiful
over.
turntable. I mean, really beautiful. I would
Wow.
recommend it for anybody if they wanted like put a stereo in their living room. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
the PL 518. Oh yeah. But and I remember Gus asking me, was I playing on 12? I said, no, no, I wasn't playing on
Oh,
12.
everybody thought you were playing on 12s when the Reddicks weren't playing on 12s. Everybody thought they were
Yeah,
playing on 12s. They thought I was playing on after I learned how to be
yeah, we was all too broke. We
on
couldn't
beat.
afford 12.
Oh, I couldn't afford 12s. I think Hitman had 12s, and he told us last week he got a loan to get them. I think Gus had 12s, like you
Gus
said.
Beard, he was the only person I knew who had a set of 12. Gus Beard, that's it. Anybody else? No, you know.
I think Carlos Partida had 12s.
He might have. I really don't remember, but he
Uh,
might
re-
have. Well, I know
rest
they do that.
and rest in peace, Carlos. Carlos was a good guy. He passed away a
Yeah,
couple years back.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think he had some because I remember a couple parties where I was at that he spun, and occasionally he let me get on. And I remember he had them.
I played with him one time in Chicago. We played at his brother George's apartment up on the north side, and it was cool until the train came by. Because I mean,
Hmm.
like right outside the window, there's the L, and it's So the train comes by, I'm cranking the music up, and then the train passed by, I had to turn it down, man. Yeah,
Oh,
I
y'all
played
must live
rough.
right up north side there, by like
We
going
was on
towards
the north
Medusa.
side. Oh yeah, we was on the north side. Yeah.
And real quick, I'm gonna show everybody, all the DJs out there. When we used to go to Kevin's crib. This is that 1800. I think I could bring that up. There we go. And then that's the 1800, everyone. And that turntable, very similar to 12, exactly like the 12, except for that pitch. And that pitch, you better know how to be on beat. If you can't blend records, that is not the turntable for you.
You
Definitely
know
not.
what? That's what made a lot of DJs probably better DJs because they started with some almost like inferior equipment.
Hmm.
You look at the equipment we started with, and two, even with that being said, a lot of the records, okay, when the house music started, funky with the drums and Justy Sanders, Gwendolyn, and all that, that was drum machine music. You know,
Hmm.
it's gonna hold a beat. you know. But when you start playing like Sylvester,
Hmm.
uh, maybe some Patrick Colley stuff. Well, Patrick Colley, I think is a little bit, drum machine too. But when you start playing that disco stuff, you gotta know how to work a pitch control. You
Hmm.
know, and I think that's what makes a lot of DJs from our era who played back way better than what's out here now because these guys never really had the experience playing music that's created by a live band. You know,
And I agree, Spike. And real quick, let me give everybody some context here. Okay, so you got the Reddicks; they're foundational. You got guys like Roy Finley that are playing records. Then we get Lorenzo and Mike. Lorenzo, Mike, and Reggie and them that follow the Reddicks really playing stuff, and that's when Hitman starts swinging the game. But those guys, like when me and Kevin and Kenny started, it was a lot of the drum machine stuff. So even
is
we
it
st-
which Kitty are you talking about?
I'm
Kitty
talking
Kitty
about
Brown or the Kitty from Elgin?
no, from Aurora, Kenny Cahill.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, because
all
we
right.
would DJ together. We was all in the same age group. So we were trying to emulate y'all. And we would mix, records that you were made with drum machines. So even the hip hop, like, we're rocking the planet, on the Feast of the Soul, all that stuff, we were still blending because these were drum machines. So when we started trying to play some of the more grown records that y'all was playing, the disco, like you said, Man, I remember one time I heard one of y'all play Hot Shot. I was like, okay, I
Oh,
do
that was
that.
the
Yeah,
Reddits.
yeah. Well, I think it was wait. So I go to play Hot
Yeah,
Shot. I run over
I,
to Orange's Records and buy Hot Shot. I go to play Hot Shot, and they go to it's rolling right, and
yeah.
then I'm waiting for the break about to play. Hot shot, hot shot, hot do 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 do, and the mug drops like 10 beats per
Yeah,
minute, and you go, and that's how you learn. Don't play with disco unless you know what you're doing, because
you
that's a
know,
live band. The drummer's gonna change what he doing.
that's
But after that, we learned how to do it though. But these DJs now, I don't think they'd be able to comprehend that, man, at all.
you know. Chris had told I had talked to him probably it was probably about maybe 5 weeks ago. And he called me and he's just like, I had to think about something. He said, you put me on the hardest records when I first like the first two records. I still remember this right now today. And he said, when you taught me how to mix, you put me on two of the hardest records. I said, no, I did. I said, I put you on two of the basic records so you could get a general idea. I said, I had put Capricorn on, I Need Love,
I need love.
and I had put
Was it Trilogy Not Love?
no, not that Fantasy, Mitch Ball Records, whatever that
Oh, Mitch Ball
Fantasy.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Right,
Dun,
right.
dun, 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 dun,
Doom,
dun,
doom, doom, doom,
dun,
doom,
dun,
doom,
dun,
doom,
dun,
doom.
dun.
Yes.
When Capricorn broke, I say, here, dun 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 dun. He said,
Hmm.
man, that's hard as hell. I said, no, it wasn't. I
No,
said,
it wasn't
I put
next.
you on that just so you could get, I had you run it back and back and back, just so you could get a general idea of how to hold a record on beat. And he's just like, well, to me, it was hard. I said, no, what? I said, believe me, if I teach anybody how to mix, I'll take them two records right there and show you just really quick. Now, but Greg showed me how to catch, like, okay, you hear a drum roll, but
Hmm.
inside that drum roll, there is a straight beat. And that's, you could just sit there and throw a drum roll, but unless you can catch that straight beat, and now a lot of times too, when you've been doing this a while, you know when to throw that drum roll, you know how you've been doing it long
Back
enough, you
that
know
up.
how to do it
Yeah.
and drop it right on the beat. Nowadays music, you don't have to do that because everybody starts with a straight beat.
Hmm.
And the break is way on the other side of the county. So,
You're right.
but as far as a lot of that music, I still have my own music, but I very rarely play wax anymore. I love it, but I very rarely play it. You know, I need to go back down there, man, because
Hmm.
digital is it's unreal.
Wow. I'm gonna say this, Spike. You may not remember, but you with it was Capricorn I Need Love, and it was Not Love. That you would get me on. That I would go to Not Love. I would play Not Love, and then have to mix tat tat. You taught me how to catch that pat tat and make it drop where it was supposed to drop when it
Yeah,
hit. Yeah, because that was I think you showed me and Kevin how to do that actually, and we kept doing it, and that's how we got better blended.
every DJ in Chicago probably done played them two records. Hell, if somebody probably gonna play them this Friday night, tomorrow
Oh
night.
yeah, yeah, with the old school mixes, the
Yeah,
old school
somebody gonna play
mixes,
it tonight. I
they
mean
can't help
tomorrow night.
themselves. Yeah, unfortunately, we got a group of DJs. I can actually tolerate those a lot better than if I have to hear if I have to hear, and no offense against Steve Hurley, because I love Steve Hurley's music, and I even love this song. But if I have to hear Jack Your Body One More Again, one of these old school mixes, okay, we was cool. It brought back some memories the first maybe 200 times y'all played it over the last, 3 months. But it's like, come on, y'all. Hopefully COVID being over, mean people go to the record store and buy some new records.
I'm not playing it. I ain't playing it. Uh,
Oh, there we go, Spike. That's for all
I'll play
the
that while I Jack Your Body. Uh, you know, nothing against anybody who wants to play it, but hey,
all right,
and
all right.
I remember when that record was new because you know, I heard it with Reddick, and they were talking, oh man, that's Capricorn. I'm like, what the hell is Capricorn? You know, that's Capricorn right there, man. Like, okay. I didn't realize that was Capricorn. I heard the
Mhm.
record before, oh, that's Capricorn, you know. But as far as like the jack your body, you know, yeah, it's right over there. But I don't.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. And let me say this, y'all. We're not trying to dog
Go
out
ahead,
Chicago.
get me wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not dogging out Chicago House. We have to understand we came up in the era before Chicago House. So like a lot of us, like I was spinning with Mike and Reggie one day. We had that block party over on what street was that? On the west side? I mean on the east side, right not far from Reggie's house. I think it was Fifth Street, Fourth Street. I can't
you
remember.
mean like about 4 or 5 years, about 5, 6 years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
That was right in front of Reggie's house.
All right, let me tell y'all. All right, it's what 30 years, 35 years later. All right, I got Reggie and Mike there, and I think I might have tried to play. I don't know if it was Moscow disc, whatever it was some old school stuff that I heard them play that I never really mixed. And so I'm mixing and I'm looking at them, and I start falling on beef. I'm like, Lord Jesus, I caught it
I
though.
wasn't saying nothing.
I caught it. I
I
caught it
wasn't
though.
saying nothing. I just go, hey, you okay?
They didn't say that. They was
Yeah,
looking at me though. I told us, okay, look, I heard y'all play this. I never really got to mix this record live. So,
you're okay. You want to go get your hot dog?
but
That was probably the last time I played wax out at a outside event. That was probably the last time. Yeah,
mhm.
because it's just so easy to carry a flash drive, you know. And truth be told, I love these flash drives because man, I could put 1,500 songs on it. You
Yeah.
know, put it in my pocket. You know,
And I had
I
to
ain't got
carry
to.
5, 6 crates of records into a party.
Yeah, man. You know, these crates of records don't fit too good, and you know, in a suitcase. You know, so you know, but
so
hey, you know,
so Mike, tell us, I know, okay, so we know y'all started in the early 90s. And again,
or
when
early '80s.
early 80s, I'm sorry, early
Yeah.
80s. And with us, younger DJs and y'all, we sit there. How we got our discerning ears because the music y'all played. We played a lot of tele disco, regular disco, electro, funk. I mean, there was a broad range of stuff before we got to Chicago house stuff. So there's a lot of songs in that catalog that we used to listen to. When did y'all start? Because I mean, we would hear the musical BMX, but we played a little different out where we were. I remember, what were your first parties that you started doing?
First parties.
Hmm.
Well, you know, it was just here and there, but yeah, actually, Progressive Center was probably, you know, and we was doing. It was me, Chris, Reggie, and Daryl Robinson, DJ Fox, for y'all if you don't know. But Daryl Robinson, we was doing Progressive Center, and Aurora is, you know, Aurora's a funny city, man. When it comes out, now, you know, there's only so much you can get away with when you're dealing with the East Side Aurora crowd that came to the Progressive Center. You could play what's that one? You could play a lot of Chicago, but you gotta play the stuff like Fix It Man. You could get away with Adonis. Uh, you know, a lot. I was even playing Orbit, and the beat goes on.
Hmm.
Kano, Ready. Uh, even Model 500. Yeah, we was playing No UFOs and that kind of stuff too.
Hmm.
So there were certain things you could get away with it, but you didn't want to go too deep because Aurora is one of the most finickiest crowds ever. I had a lot of different records, but I knew what I could get away with in the Progressive Center, and I knew what not to play. You know, because you want to keep people on the floor. But Progressive Center was that was probably one of the ones we used to do on a regular, and I remember the last party we done there. It was East West basketball night, and that was it. There was no more. You
What
know,
happened?
I don't know exactly what you know. Well, the week before it was a big fight out there, right there on Galena. I mean, a big fight. You know, Vice
Oh, I
Lord.
remember that with Vice
You know,
Lords. And,
yeah. You know,
yeah,
I remember it was.
I think they was in a fight with the Deuces or something,
No, it was Vice Lords and
or was it the Gangster Disciples?
yeah.
Disciples? Oh, okay.
I think if I'm correct, it was Stacey and Tracy Taylor from
Taylor.
Westwood, and
I'm,
another.
I'm,
Yeah. Oh man, they was
they were
it,
serious.
it was serious. You know. But you know, we had done that party, and the next week was East-West basketball game, and we done that party, and we never done another one. You know,
Wow.
that was it. You know, and besides, I don't know what it was. You know, you could have 500 people come to the door. What the door take down? Oh, it only took down 400. Wait a minute, hold on. If my arithmetic serves me right, we have 500 people come to the door. We
$5
only
per
made
person, right?
$400.
I
Okay.
remember the parties down there because I lived down the street from there. I lived on Lincoln and Benton.
I thought you played at that one with us.
Which one? The one where
The
the
East West
East?
game. Yeah,
I
you
know I
played with us.
came through. I came through the back door, and
Yeah,
once
that's
again,
the
yeah,
last time you played. That was the last time we played the Progressive Center. You
wow,
was with us.
right? Because I think I left before stuff jumped off because I know I
Oh
came
no,
in
didn't
this
not
month.
jump off that night. Didn't not
Right.
jump off that night. But it was the week
Okay.
before,
But the
you
week
know.
before, that was the last time they did a party there. Wow.
No, the night when you played with us was the last time we done a party there. That was it. No, I
Okay.
never played in that place again.
Let me be clear. It wasn't my DJing that stopped it. Okay. It was because I
No,
spot.
no.
But Mike,
And that
Mike would
party
let.
was banging, man.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I remember that night, man, because
Yeah,
I played Fix It, man. I think we were the few DJs that Aurora DJs that played Fix It, man, because we had that
yeah,
Fix It, man, is a great song. That was Ragtime.
yeah. And you could play Farley, Jack the bass, and flip the record. You could play that. Right.
Hmm.
We a lot of you people out there in
No,
internet
everybody know
land,
what
you
the
don't know
dub
what's on the
version.
backside,
Yeah,
but
you know
we
what's
can
on the
play it.
backside of Jack the Bass, so we can play that. We won't say what it was. We can
Yeah,
play it.
we ain't gonna say that. You know, we ain't gonna say
I
that.
remember, Mike, because yeah, that was a good run though, man. That was all the way to about 88, wasn't it? That you guys had that run at the Progressive. Was it 88 or 87?
88, 89.
88, 89.
89. Yeah, that was
So for
good.
those of you watching that aren't from Aurora, in Aurora, we had a place called the Progressive Center. It was one of the places where we always had parties. Mike had like if it was we call it a residency now. Mike had the residency there,
I don't know if I
and
called on that, but okay.
well, it was a spot. There's a lot of people that have asked me, "Hey, get Spike, y'all do a progressive reunion." We might have to do that, but the people enjoyed it. It was a predominantly black crowd. So
Yeah,
Aurora, we had parties where everybody would come, black, Mexicans, and Puerto Ricans, and Filipinos, and whites, and we had parties where only a certain group would come. So the black folks would go to progressive faithfully.
yeah.
Latinos, a lot was the Romanian hall, you know, the Romanian, maybe the attic.
They
We
had
had
the
a
Elks
mixed
Club
crowd at
too, right across from
the
what's
library.
the library.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we had a mixed crowd there. That was because you had people from West and East who come there and mingle, you know. But so we had these different spots. Oddly, man, we had a lot of spots for such a small town. We had people coming, like when Mike talked about when they started doing parties at the Alamo and the Hot Mix Five would come out. We used to bring those guys out. But then you were doing your parties. Daryl and them were doing their parties. Or DJ Fox and Turn Out Todd and the Kicky Kitty from Elgin. They were doing their parties. Me and Kevin were doing our parties with our Bolingbrook guys. Arturo and Dave Thomas and Arturo Colbert and them. So there were a lot of crews, and we were doing parties all roaring on the weekend. There'd be about maybe 3 or 4 parties.
you know, if BMX came to the Alamo, I would still play downtown. I wouldn't worry. I would still play Progressive Center because a lot of times the crowd I was playing for wasn't gonna go out there anyway. You
Yeah,
know,
it's true.
maybe a few, but a lot of them would. You know.
And a lot of times people would come and go. Like they would come to your set, go to a different one. People go to that set, come down to progressive. So people would kind of shift around, and just get to party, you know.
But it was one thing that I really you know kind of didn't like about a lot of it was I wanted to go to a lot of the other parties in a row, but you can't, because like okay, Luis Morales, I know Morales, Luis Morales, and he would be playing a party, but yeah, I'm cool with the Contreras and all them boys, yeah, but man, you got to go through all the Latin Kings and the Deuces to get to this guy. And they don't allow them, some of the older OGs know me, oh, he cool. But them young OGs, they like, hey, I mean, the young G's, hey, man, we don't know you, man. So
They
Yeah.
would they would get a little ignorant sometimes. We go to parties. I mean, I think I got a pass for time because they knew me from breakdancing. Oh, that's Moon
Yeah.
Knight, so they knew
Yeah.
me. But they had to know you because
They
you
had
go in there
to
to create records. They run up on you real quick. Hey man, hey man, I'm a DJ man. I'm just here to play, mix some records. Oh, that's just Moon Knight. But yeah, it could get interesting. You know, the Aurora had so back then, y'all. I'm not gonna do a gang history of Aurora, but Aurora had at that time, I think, four dominant gangs. You had the Vice Lords out on the west side of Aurora. You had the
I was
GDs,
cool with them. I didn't have no
right?
problem with them either.
Yeah, some GDs on the west side and the east side of Aurora. Back then, they were Black Gangster Disciples. And then you had the Latin Kings and Deuces on the east side. You know, and so it could be if people didn't know you, you couldn't really flow through them neighborhoods like that. You know, people had to know you, and you know, like I said, me and Kevin, them, we can get through
Yeah.
because we was DJs. You know, they knew
Yeah.
us DJ in
Exactly.
the party, or they knew me from being a breakdancer. You know, but yeah, it could get rough sometimes because sometimes the brothers would want to come. You know, black dudes want, hey, I'm coming to the party. I'm DJing the party. Like I remember I spun a party at the Romanian, a couple parts of Romanian, and the brothers like, I ain't coming. I'm like, why not, man? But it was getting sometimes it gets hits. I did want
Yeah.
to tell a story before we go on, man, about because you had mentioned we had two Kicking Kennys. Because people always ask me this. There was a Kicking Kenny that was from Elgin, and then there's our guy Kicking Kenny from Aurora, Kenny Cahill. All right, so now Kicking Kenny in Elgin. This is a me and Mike Spikner story. So somehow I get into it with this crew of DJs. I was always into it with somebody, right? So I'm into it. And I'm like, I go to Mike's house. I got to battle this Kicking Kitty dude on Friday. And so I'm going to go battle him. So Mike's okay, man. We're going to program. You're going to sit here. You're going to program this mix, right? So I went to Mike's house after school every day, like from Monday to that Friday. All right. I'm practicing this mix. Mike said, we're going to go together, right? So it's me, you. I think Chris came with us.
Yeah.
It was
He was
me.
right. Yeah.
It was me,
Yeah.
you, and Chris. That's it. So we go to the party. They're doing a party. I believe it was like I
Howard
forgot the
Johnson.
Howard Johnson over on 31.
Yeah.
So we go up there. I got my little crate of records. I'm about to DJ battle these dudes, and the crowd was completely against me because this was their crowd. I
Yeah.
go in, and you know me, I'm about to murder this dude on turntables because I mean they didn't know. I said, let me get on there if you want to. So I get up there, and we start battling, and Mike's watching. And I think I'm not gonna say who, but somebody like did
I'll
some
say
dirty.
it. I'll say
somebody
who did it. I know who did
somebody
it. I'm standing right there.
unplugged the monitor. Who was it?
No, no, he didn't unplug the monitor because you went headphoneless. You was killing it. It was
Mm-hmm.
turning out time. He flipped the switch, and I'm sitting there just like, and when you went to move the record, there was nothing there. And and he thought that was funny, man. I said something to him. I was like, man, that ain't cool, man. Y'all want
Yeah.
to have a competition, or y'all want to play games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was turn out time. I ain't scared to mention the game. He was the clown who did it.
And so I get back on. Kenny did his thing. And then I get on and I just started, man, I blended some records and started scratching. I destroyed this dude, man. And his homies was like, oh, you won the battle. The crowd was like, yeah, no, you didn't, bro.
That crowd was against you, truth be
hmm
told. But and if Kicking Kenny from Elgin is watching, you got the brakes beat off you that night. That's just plain and simple. I don't care how you look at it. I was there, Chris was there, and that crowd could say whatever they want, but them DJs up on that stage, even knew turning out time, they knew that you got the brakes beat off you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And truth be told, for a long time, I didn't know there was two Kicking Kennys.
hmm Well,
You know,
I don't think Kenny Cahill went by Kicking Kenny back then. I'm gonna have to get Kenny to come
okay.
on the show. I don't think he went by I don't think he went by Kicking Kenny. I think it was just Kenny Cahill because I don't know what his mixed name was. I don't think it was Kicking Kenny though.
But well, let's put that disclaimer: not Kicking Kenny in Aurora, Kicking
No,
Kenny in Elgin. So we don't
Kicking
want
Kenny
no.
and Elgin.
Yeah, we don't
No,
want.
no, because Kicking Kenny Cahill is one of my homies, right? But
Yeah,
Kid Kenny Cahill out in Elgin. I don't know why. I don't know why I was always beefing with people. I think I was carrying that b-boy breakdance. I just wanted to battle every damn body back then. I had to get my respect.
well, everybody was battling everybody, though. It just,
Mm,
yeah, I didn't care nothing for it. To be honest, I was just more into the music, and I'm still into the music.
right.
But it was fun times. It really was. And I still look for more fun times. Hopefully, we can get out there to the park this year. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
hopefully. Is your screen
Everybody.
froze up? Cause I'm froze up over here.
No, I'm good. I can see you. It's
Oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah. But everybody, we do a party out in the park. It's House in the Park out in Aurora. We do it at Lebanon Park out in Aurora. We were doing it annually last year. Obviously, COVID stopped us from doing it. So those of you who like going to Chosen Few
There
picnic
we go. We back now.
and okay, yeah, those of y'all like going to Chosen Few picnic. The Chosen Few picnic is good, but we do a picnic ourselves in August. Aurora DJs, and I'm gonna tell you, so I won't say I get down, but Mike, Mike, he's out there. Daryl Robinson's out there. Kiki
I
Kenny's
ain't,
out there. Reggie them,
I'm
Randy
playing country
Hanson.
music this year. I'm tired of
Yeah.
y'all.
Well, the last time I had technical difficulties, so I'm coming for revenge. This year, I'm coming. I'm coming to spin. I come out there, I couldn't get the stuff to play, so I'm coming for revenge now that I've gotten a little bit more technically proficient. So I'm gonna come. I'm telling everybody out there this year, I'm gonna have a cold mix come out because I'm gonna get down at the house at the park, and we all get down. But I have to make up for it the other year. So but it's a
Play
good
country
time,
music.
man.
I ain't playing no more house music. I'm done.
You gonna
I'm
play country? Hey, it's Aurora. You gonna have that crowd's gonna be very happy to hear it. As long as you blend,
tired.
and all we gonna do is see if you gonna blend it on beat. If you
Yeah.
blend it on beat,
Oh,
we ain't gonna talk about
oh, hey, I've mixed a couple rock and roll songs before. I thought it was pretty cool,
you.
But now, but even still, to go back to the old days, when I look at like DJs on the radio, uh, you know, one of my favorites was Farley and Ralphie. That's it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Oliver and them guys. They had some nice mixes. As far as like melodies and little tricks they would do. But the one thing I liked about Farley, nobody was playing no OJ. You know, when you could pretty much tell to a sense when he was on, because he might play bruh or you're just the right size, or something like that. He was always on some different street, and a lot of times I would listen to him because a lot of that stuff he was playing was not, drum machine music. Now, when you listen to him, and a lot of times if you listen close enough, you see he's having to work that pitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a true skill is. And even when I look at it, when I look at a mix, to me, it all has to fall in place. I don't care how you look at it. I've seen a lot of guys be like, oh, oh. But and somebody might say that about me. They might not like the way I mix. Hell, there's probably a lot of people out there listening to my mix. Oh, I can't do that. But you'll sit there and listen to something from '88 still. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. But and when you look at Ralphie, I got cassettes for these guys still that I listen to every now and then. Ralphie, to me, I remember watching him up at that Elks Club right across from the library, and I was in there one night.
Yeah, that's what I brought Ralphie out for that one.
Yeah, the place was packed. They was dancing, and somebody bumped like the table or the stage or however it was. Record skip. Ralphie didn't miss a beat.
No, man, Ralphie was very precise. And let me talk about the Hot Mix Five guys real quick. All right, so Farley, who we all got to know. Farley, um, he was the guy that DJ'd the South Side, West Side. Ralphie DJ'd up north a lot. But Ralphie and Mickey and Kenny Jam and Jason and all superb DJs as far as skill. But they all had different type of music they would play. Some of the same stuff, but you could tell who was on. We could tell when it was Ralphie. We could tell it was Farley. You kind of tell if it was Kenny. We knew Mickey.
Yeah,
And Scott Sills at the time. Those are the people who recorded. This is before we get to Steve Hurley and Julian Perez and all them. But with Ralphie was probably technically one of the smoothest DJs out of Chicago ever. His blends were so smooth, and he had a good ear for pitch. So a lot of times he'd mix records and they'd be right in key. They'd be in key, on beat and in key. There's a
hmm
mix Ralphie did. I got a cassette of his where he mixed Yvonne K. Was that Rise Up? And then
Oh yeah.
da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-dum, da-dum, and it broke. Da-dum. dun, 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 and then broke. I need it. I need it. All that. Dun, 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 dun,
Mhm.
dun, boom. Shot. Shane brings in No UFOs right on point, and it's just smooth. And then for No UFOs, he goes to the Native Love, and I didn't realize they were the same key. And he just had it rolling at the break of No UFOs. So Ralphie was smooth as hell. Smooth as hell. I learned a lot listening to Ralphie and watching him. That was the first party I did in Aurora. Was at the Attic, and I brought Ralphie out. That was the day after I got through beating the brakes off, kicking Kenny from Elgin. So we know. Remember, we flooded the place with flyers. I said, "I'll be at the Attic tomorrow," and that was really the beginning of my career in Aurora, spinning wise, because the
Uh,
crowd came out, Ralphie came out. That was my first really big party with one of the Hot Mix Five guys, and I had a great time. I got to know Ralphie real well, and it's just I got to really watch him up close quite a few times, and it was a treat to watch Ralphie the Raz Rosario mix records.
you
You
said
know.
the attic. Oh, my uncle got kicked off at him now. Blew up one of his Altec Lansings up there in the attic.
Oh,
Now,
really?
could they have found a longer stairway to carry speakers up?
Oh my God, that was like going up. I
Man,
mean, I think it was one straight
I
stairway,
went up
four
moving
floors up.
tower.
It's like what four floors up, one stairway. You bringing records up, you mad?
Man, and these Outtake Lansings, they weren't. You weren't just gonna carry them up there. We was step for step.
Mm,
And blew on them up. My uncle was not happy. And matter of
wow.
fact, I was with the Reddicks at that. I was with the Reddicks that night, and we blew up one of them Outtake Lansings. Yep.
Man, the Reddix is known to blow up some speakers, man. Because I remember, I'm gonna tell a quick story. Spike knows this story. All right. There was a party in Aurora at a place called Romanian Hall.
Oh yeah.
Uh, my friend, sometimes competitor, Kevin Elliott, threw a party over there, and I think Farley was DJing. And they threw this party. So for whatever reason, I felt, what's the word? I felt slighted. I said, I got you. That's what I brought Ralphie to the Elks Club same night. So I think both of our parties started out the same time. We both sitting there with nobody in the party between like 8 and 9 o'clock. I had people go over there, see what at Kevin party. Nobody was there. Nobody was at our party. And I'm like, I didn't have Ralphie's money. So I'm like, Lord Jesus, somebody better show up this party. So about 9:30ish, crowd started packing in the party. It was like, oh my God, thank God, thank God, thank God. Party's packing out before Ralphie gets there, right? My dad is at the door. My dad's collecting money at the door. And it's jumping. It's jumping. And I'm like, go Kevin Party, see you over there. They say, ain't nobody over there. I said, yeah, okay, now what, right? So Ralphie's spinning. And then I see at the door, I see Farley. I think it was you, Farley, the Reddicks, the Hitman was with them. I think y'all were all together.
No,
And my
actually, I I think I missed that party.
okay, I think I,
Um,
I know the Red. It was the Reddicks and Farley and Hitman because my Farley knew everybody, and Kevin because we all would throw the parties expected to make some money. Kevin didn't have
yeah,
Farley's money. He didn't have Farley's money, so Mike and
I
them
might
brought him
have
over.
a flyer for that party.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe.
So
Uh,
they didn't have Farley's money. Money. They come over to our party. And Ralphie was almost done mixing, so it's almost about 11 o'clock. So my sister comes running up. You got to come up to the DJ. You got to come up to the front. Come up to the front. I'm like, why? What's going on? Dad trying to charge Farley to get in. I'm like, what? Now he let
hey,
the Reddicks in because he knew the Reddicks and he knew Mike, but he
yeah.
didn't know Farley. So I get up to
Okay.
the door.
What
He's
you
sitting there.
think, Barley?
He's sitting up there
Okay,
telling
give up that money.
my dad is telling Farley. Farley's like, it's $5 with fly, it's $7 without. And Mike is trying to tell my dad that's who Farley is. So I run up there, I'm like, Dad. I said, this is Farley Jack Spoke. We can't charge him to come to the party. That's why y'all ain't making no money. Y'all let people in free. My dad's still talking about me about that. But we let Farley in finally. Farley comes up. He talks to Ralphie. They exchange. Mike, they all talking, hot mix five conversation. So our party's about over. We like, man, it's about at this time, it's going on 12. We done made our money. And Farley's like, hey man, tell them the after sets at the Romanian so Kevin can pay my money. All right, Farley. So we get on. Yeah, this party's about to be over. The after sets at the Romanian Hall, Farley Jack Master Funk. Everybody leaves my party, goes over to the Romanian.
Yeah.
I go over there, and Farley is mixing it. I think Kevin had rented these speakers for Naperville Music. Big old bad boys. Farley and the Reddicks must have blew a hole in one of them bad boys. I know Kevin was mad about it, but Farley was boom, 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 boom. And so I felt so sorry for Kevin. And then I mean, we all ended up at Perkins. And after that, I think everybody realized, hey, if Richard is, if you don't hire Richard, Richard gonna throw a party on next to yours and undercut you. I had no problems after that, man.
But then didn't he blow up all them speakers out there on 59 where you had did that party where I came out there?
Oh, when we did that party out, I think,
Like previously
yeah,
he blew all the speakers up in that place.
yeah, it was Esteban's. I think that was
Yeah.
Derek. Derek Duff, I think, threw a party out there. He hired Farley. I came
Oh,
through.
shout out to Derek Duff too. Shout out to
Yeah,
Derek.
yeah. We get over there, and Farley came out there. I think he did blow the speakers there too. Farley and the Reddicks would blow some speakers, man, because they was bass. They should have been named Bass in Your Face, because them boys, man, they bring the bass. When Farley said "Jack the Bass," he meant it. That was not a statement of just the title of a record. That was Farley's philosophy. Jack the Bass, and he meant it. It was gonna be boom, 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 boom. So I'm sorry, man. Farley flashback story.
You talking
So
bass in your face, them boys over at New York Street, man. I don't know how I could get to go to jail. They were blowing the windows out across the street at the gas station, you know. And you come on New York Street, man, them guys were just killing it out there, man.
they
Them
was
Contreras
always killing it.
boys.
The Contreras,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
they would play, they would get down, man. They were good dudes though, man. I
Yeah,
mean, they
I
let
was
it,
cool with them, yeah.
yeah. I go
Yeah.
over there and we play, and then Sam Cervantes and a lot of guys, man, we'd all play together. There's friendly competition amongst us, but we'd all get together and share records, and hey man, I got to make a tape. I don't got no 12s. Come on over, So everybody was pretty cool like that.
Yeah, I think the oldest one, his name was Joe. Me and Joe, we went to grade school and middle school. Uh, I don't know if we was at East together or not. I don't remember, but I know we were at grade school and middle school together. Yeah, Joe Contreras. Yeah, he's a cool dude, man. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of Aurora had a lot of guys who either were great DJs or became great DJs. I think we all kind of set a standard for what we expected from one another, as far as, because we had some pretty high standards about blending them records.
Oh,
And yeah, all of it. I don't care if you was playing freestyle or if you was playing disco. We had a standard. You gonna play something, you better be blending them bad boys on beat.
I
You
still
know.
kind of hold that standard right now today, to a sense. But I was like, I didn't know. I already knew really one DJ from Elgin, and that was Rodney Blaylock.
I remember him.
Yeah, his family had a record store up there in Elgin, and I remember because me, Greg, and George went up there, and we were up there, And Elgin was probably one of the little towns that probably where you could get a lot of like serious intention,
Hmm.
a lot of those old, Streetwise or maybe West End or Prelude Records, you could get that. And we in there digging. I mean, we are really digging. Greg is to my left, George is to my right. Now, they a team. I'm on my own.
Hmm.
Man, I had to go to man, I'm like,
Because
I'm having to go.
if your
Yeah,
homie
it's
got
two versus
people,
one.
yeah, people don't understand. See, now this digital age, we download stuff. If you go to the record store with your homies, it's a competition going on there.
Oh yeah,
Because
they
there's only
love
going to be maybe one or
it.
two copies of whatever it is, and whoever got it, got it. And you just
Yeah,
look, you know. I remember going to the record store with the Reddicks. We go over to Orange's Records in Aurora, over there on Lake Street, just looking through records. And they come across some stuff, and I'd just be mad. Like, God dang.
oh
They
yeah.
come across, they grab something, you like, oh, I wish I had grabbed it. And they reckoned, but they knew what it was, too, though.
One of the fattest records I ever pulled out of Orange Records was Jungle One. Jungle One?
Oh, okay. Marshall Jefferson song?
No, Jungle One.
Jungle Ones. I think Marshall produced it.
Uh, Maybe it's on the green label. I
Yeah,
can
it's green. I think Marshall Jefferson produced that.
yeah. But I tell you, there's another story where me and Daryl Robinson, we were on the AM station out there, and Hawk kicked both of us off the station.
Wow.
Same night.
Oh, y'all must have hurt his feelings or something.
Oh wow! Hog was called. He let us do a little mix or whatever. Do a mix when we get out to do it, and then there was this other guy. I can't remember who he was. He was Latin brother, but he wasn't very good. I mean, gym shoes in the dry. Oh yeah, you know. And he's over there playing this mix on a Sunday night, and I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, uh, and so I was like, well, man, what's going on? So I called Hawk. I was like, Hawk, you sure you want to be playing that on the radio? I mean, it was bad. It was bad. Like me, he had no business being on that stage, you know. And and that's when I found out that he kicked Daryl off right before he kicked me off because he said, you and Daryl, y'all just think y'all all this and all that. I was just like, well, I ain't gonna play none of your mixes no more. I said, well, that's fine too, because Daryl had called him before I did. Daryl had got kicked off, and then I called in, and that's what he do it. Then I got kicked off.
Hawk knew how to play a record. He didn't know how to mix nothing. You know what I'm saying? So y'all was probably intimidating to him. Same thing when BMX was on the air. These guys that play records don't know how to follow behind people who blended records.
Our
So
mixes were good. Yeah, back then our mixes were good. They were
yeah,
very good on the radio.
y'all mixes were tight. I remember listening to you and Daryl on the AM station. Y'all mixes were tight. Now that you were telling, I also apologize, I interrupted you. You were telling a story about when you was in Elgin at the record store with the Reddicks
Oh
over at the
no, there's
Bladelocks.
nothing. Yeah, there's
All right.
nothing else. Yeah.
Now Elgin was a little different. My boy George Scott, shout out to George. I'm gonna have him on. And that's when it was George Scott, who I was good with, for it was from out there. Kevin Halstead, rest in peace. He was with White Knight. He was out there in Elgin at the Blue Moon. They used to do parties out there at the Blue Moon in Elgin. I remember there was a party with Mario Smoking Diaz they did for the Hot Mix 5 when he was in I, and I went up there and I DJ'd. George would let me DJ all the time. And George, thanks again, because that's how I got known outside of Aurora. George would let me DJ out in Elgin, and Dave Thomas and Arturo Colbert let me come out to Romeoville and Bolingbrook, and we would spin together, and I got to spin. So I got to introduce to a lot of different crowds, and Downers Grove, Phil K. Swift and Mark Imperial. Thank you guys. I just got to know people, you know.
Mark Imperial. Now the Reddicks played with him one time. I think that shortly after that, Shador Janser came out. I had
Oh,
met
yeah, that was
Mark
his first
Imperial.
record. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were playing that hotel out there in North Lake. If you ever go
Hmm.
up 294, that big hotel right there. Mark Imperial and the Reddicks were playing there, and Mark Joseph. And I think Mark Joseph got the Reddicks for some records too, because they weren't too happy about that. But yeah, that's the first time I met Mark Imperial. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Imperial's a good dude, man, or is a
Yeah,
good dude.
it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, for those of you who don't know Mark Imperial's biggest record was The Love I Lost with Kevin Irving. Prior to that, though, he did Jador Dancer on DJ International. He did that with Ralphie. Ralphie did a lot of production there. Very smooth song. Then, of course, we all remember Jason's Revenge when it dropped. It dropped pretty hard. And
Yeah.
that was marked with, I think, Sean Chagog and Dave Merritt and Darius McCrae from out in Bolingbrook. Those guys were great, great producers, great musicians. And Mark had a label. He had was it House Nation Records? It was House Nation Records that Mark had. A lot of good songs came out in House Nation. I know
Yeah.
Farley was a little salty that he got that name trademark for his label, House Nation Records. Before Farley, I think Farley came out with the song House Nation, but he had
Yeah.
locked that down. No, Farley came out with the song House Nation, but he had locked it down. Because I remember we used to mix Jason's Revenge with House Nation because they were back then that was fast. I think it was 124 beats per minute. Oh my God, it's so fast. Now it's up here at 133. You know.
I remember that when that came out, House Nation. Man, wow. But it still would never beat Essence of a Dream. Or,
Oh,
yeah.
shout out to oh, who was that? K Alexis
Hey,
Shelby.
like,
K
was that
Alexis
Kendrick?
Shelby. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
K Alexis Shelby, Essence of a Dream. I think Mike, when K Alexis Shelby made Essence of a Dream, and when Marshall Jefferson and Kim Mizelle made Taste My Love, To me, those two songs are what Chicago house music, the epitaphy. They were the epitome of Chicago house music, and
Oh,
that's what it should have been. From that point on, it should have been like that. But somebody gave somebody a goddamn emulator two or something, an Emacs, and then, and I'm going to say this, and okay, me and Mike have had this discussion many times, and I hope I don't hurt no feelings on this, but I'm going to say this. Me and Hitman last week, we talked about B96, how it helped kill Chicago house music.
yeah.
I'm going to tell you what else helped kill Chicago music. Somebody gave some fool a sampler, and whereas we had got to the point where we were making music, songs like Essence of a Dream, songs like Taste My Love, songs like Promised Land by Joe Smooth, songs like Devotion. These songs were coming out. Somebody gave somebody a sampler, and them people in New York, I'm not mentioning no name, a lot of people love this song. I hate this song. I don't hate the producer. I think he's a great producer. I hate Royal
Full
House
trigger.
Can You Party. When Royal House Can You Party came out, everybody in
Uh,
Chicago stopped and heard what they were doing in New York. Those dun 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 dun. And I think we had about 30,000 songs in Chicago that came out trying to dun 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 dun. Dun. Everybody was just sampling it. Dun. We stopped composing songs. I mean, Eddie came out with a few good ones after that. Tyree came out with a few good ones. Of course, you had Larry Heard and all of them still doing their thing, but man, it was all sample crazy, and it just I think it killed Chicago. It helped really kill the momentum of what we were creating. What do you think, man? I'm rambling, man.
I think what's happening overseas, Chicago should have been in front of it.
Oh
You
God,
know,
it is, yeah.
because
Them boys is
there's
getting
so
down over there.
oh they hammering. Y'all, don't get me wrong, you got some nice stuff coming out,
Yeah, I think
but
that was it what's his name in Chicago? Who we got? Ron Trent still makes some good stuff. Maurice is
I
making
like a
some
lot of
decent
Mike
stuff.
Dunn stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, Mike Dunn, Maurice Joshua. What's that
Rich
one
stuff.
guy?
It.
Uh,
Yeah,
Glenn Underground and As the Fingers and those dudes. They're making some good stuff, but we're getting
uh,
murdered by South Africa. When I go buy records, I'm normally buying stuff from South Africa. I'm buying stuff from Europe, stuff from South America, from New York. You
uh,
know, I rarely buy a Chicago record because we stuck in it. Let me tell you what bothered me about Chicago records. I'm gonna say this. So all you Chicago people that are making records, all right, the overly deep. All right, you throw a beat, boom, boom, nice beat, and I might like the track until you let somebody get on talking some pseudo deep poetry. Nighttime, in the night, it's dark. I'm like, okay, come on, man. All right, I was like, it's only so much of the, and I'm sorry, I'm tired of hearing about. Let me just get this out. Tired of hearing about. There was a house called Jack, and Jack had a house,
oh my.
and Jack had a groove. If y'all do that one more again, I swear to God, will y'all
Man,
stop. All right, we
if
get
I
it.
hear another first choice sample,
Oh,
I'm just like another Jack. Oh my! If
I
some
mean,
of
oh,
it,
you know, and don't get me wrong, y'all. Like I said, I understand. It's our culture, it's our heritage in Chicago. Meanwhile, they are beating the brakes off music. For the first time when we do our show at Reggie Chandler, or is this show Reggie Chandler does for holidays, and we do mixes, and we all link it. Y'all listen. Some of y'all listen. We appreciate the people's support, and I've listened to all the DJs on there. I listen to myself. Mike, Daryl Robinson, Kiki Kitty, Richard Jimenez, Reggie Chandler. These mixes are cold. And and lately the last couple of mixes I've done, I have not played any old music. So I'm like, dang, because that's just how good the new music is out. And I'll send it to people and I'll get some responses back from Chicago people. I just want to hear the whole stuff. So if you just want to hear old house music, you are not a house head. If you just want to listen to disco, you're not a house head. You're a person who likes living in the past, which is cool. Because I love doing some of the old school mix. That's cool. But a house head, the whole thing about house music was it was always we liked what was new. We held on to what was good from the old, but we took the new what was new and good and we played it too. And now y'all don't even give songs a chance. Every now and then they'll get like one song like Hey Hey. Remember they play Hey Hey to death or
never played
um
that.
well yeah, because they played it to death. Because it's like the only new
Yeah.
song that they'll play one new show. One Chicago will pick one new song it likes, like it's either Black Coffee, Hey Hey, whatever one, and they'll hold on to it for like 10 years,
I
and like,
even played
and the whole world passes us by. I blame the DJs in Chicago for not trying to break new records like they used to in order to get the crowd used to them. They go with the safe bet, you know.
that's like that. One record, "Follow Me." I've never played that record in a
No,
minute.
I never
I
played
tried
Follow
it,
Me.
but yeah,
And no, ain't nothing against the song Follow Me. I'm gonna be nice.
that is
None,
none of them.
yeah, the song itself is good, but you have to understand, if I come to a party and there's 5 DJs and every DJ plays Follow Me, if every DJ plays what was the one that Follow Me or plays Percolator, if every DJ is, I'm not gonna play it. So don't even come talk to me about it because we're gonna try to do something different. Because there's played out. At a certain point you play it out where it could be the greatest song, but I don't want to hear it now. And don't get me wrong, we are supposed to play for the crowd. If we got to play what you like, but we also got to introduce you to some new music every now and then. So that, and it used to be like that in Chicago, in Aurora. We could play something new. If it was cold and you were the first one to play it, it was great. But now, nobody wants to play a new record because they're afraid the crowd's going to boo. I heard guys who do the streaming. They say, I don't play live music. I don't play new music because people start tuning out. And I said,
And
we got to educate people in a way too.
I remember it was a time we couldn't wait to get back to Aurora from the record store just so we could play some new music.
First, to play it first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we just left down there at Plymouth Court.
Yeah, we
State
just left
Street.
Imports or State
Yeah,
Street or Gramophone, and we rushing down. All of us would go after school on
yeah.
Fridays to go get records and try to get back with some nobody played. Or I go see Benji over DJ National and hope he gave me a test press. I'm like, Lord, please let me get a test press. Let me get a test press today and give me a test press. I remember he gave me a test pressing of what was the song? It was a song on DJ Acid Over by Tyree. That
Yeah. Yeah.
man, I came back. I had it before everybody, and I played it, and the crowd loved it. And the DJs rushed the DJ booth or table looking to see what I'm playing. That's how it was supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. But now, man, please play a new record if you want to. Crowd look. Now, I will say this: at our picnic, at the House of Park picnic crowd, that crowd that comes out, the Royal people that come out, we had people come out from Joliet and Elgin and Bolingbrook. The people that come out like hearing new music. They like hearing good music. They're a very discerning ear, but they
Good.
like the they're there for good music and a good time. So I'm not trying to pub our event again, but y'all need to come out when we do House in the Park this year after this COVID stuff is over. I think y'all gonna enjoy yourselves. Come out, bring the grill, bring the kids, barbecue, you know, and we have a great time. So definitely come out. I'm looking forward. I got revenge. I got to come out and rock the whole damn park for because my technical difficulty the last time.
I'm playing country music. I don't know what y'all doing.
Man, so Mike, tell us. I mean, we know you told us we got to where we get to where the you stopped doing the parties at Progressive. All right. At which point did you leave Aurora? Because I know we all left for various reasons. What point did you leave?
I left Aurora in '92. My ex was in what is my ex now, but she was here in Ohio, and I took a pretty hard hit in Aurora. And I'm quite sure a lot of people know I got all my equipment robbed. And plus, Lewis has some of his stuff. Lewis Morales has some of his stuff in my house, and we got robbed. And and the little clown, he did it. I probably shouldn't put his name out there, so I'm gonna let it go. But and I confronted him down there at Mrs. Lee's one time, and he's still holding up that little tired lie. Be on Facebook talking about only God can judge me, praise the Lord. I said, well, why you go ahead and hold on to that lie because I know you did it, but I ain't gonna put his name out there. But a lot of people
Okay.
know because man, I don't want to be the cause of somebody getting divorced because so. But and I still have my records though. But and I moved there. I really didn't hardly have anything, so I just started scouring pawn shops and stuff and putting the system back together. And I end up. I met a few DJs here early on. I actually ended up playing down at right down there by Ohio State there, and there's a couple other places that I played, but I remember I had went down this place called the Pit, down there on High Street, and there was some guys down there. They were more drinking more than anything. And I mean they might get mixed maybe 2 4 beats. I was just like, well, hey man, can I get on there? You say, well, yeah, well, come on down next week, man, and we'll let you on. And I was just like, okay, and so I showed up next week with a long milk crate, not a short one, a long one, and then they seemed like they was a little hesitant about letting me get on. I guess they thought I was going to get up there and play Public Enemy or something, or I don't know. But he let me get on, and I remember I started rocking the place, and I had double copies of a lot of stuff. So I'm playing Mark Anthony, Ride and all that. I'm hit,
Mm-hmm.
and right at that time, probably within the first 4 minutes, people knew it was a whole different groove going on in that place. They knew. Because they've been used to these guys for a long time, but they knew it was a whole different groove going. And guys like, oh man, we never seen nothing like that. I'm not taking anything away from the guys here in Columbus because there was some guys who could mix here this time. They just, it was early on. But where I was at, them guys, they was no. And I was down there, and I was just down there working out. You know, they wasn't really paying me, but it was
Mm-hmm.
great just to get out and play someplace. And I remember one night I was there, I'm beating this box, I am beating it, and this clown manager comes over to me and gets mad at me because I didn't play the book to be my lover. And I looked at him, I was just like, what do you care? I was like, your dance floor is packed. People is drinking beer like there's another beer truck showing up tonight. And what do you care? And that I just like, I told him just hey man, you guys take care of it. I'm out. I was just like, I'm just down there having fun. I'm not really making any money. I'm just. And so it was I played at a couple other little places since then, but there for a long time I didn't play out anywhere. But I kept buying records when record stores were available here. I used to buy records from Culture 7. Actually, I bought uh, some Chicago records down here. I bought one of Jordan Fields records down here. And but
Mm-hmm.
I kept on, you know, playing. If I didn't do nothing but play for myself, I kept playing. And I ended up playing for a few people around town, Restart. And but one people I take my hat off to is Midwest Fresh. You know, I would, me and the Frequency guys, guys I run with Frequency, Scorpius Max and Tony Whitfield. We went down here to this place. Everybody said, "Man, I gotta go to Midwest Fresh. I gotta go there." So we go out to Midwest Fresh, and they got 2 rooms going, and the front room is the kind of house EDM or something, I don't know. But we was in the back room. Well, the back room, they're back there playing BT Express. You know, is it all over my face? So I'm like, oh, okay, we in the right room back here. And I was there, and they, I'm talking to guys. Oh man, you gotta meet Dave. You gotta meet, you need to meet Dave. You need to meet Dave. Like, I don't talk to everybody here except Dave. And I'm standing right here next to the turntables, and there's this guy there. We sitting there talking. Oh, by the way, I'm Dave. I'm like, oh, well, how you doing? Everybody keeps telling me I need to meet you. you know. And I end up playing for Midwest Fresh, like, you know, I probably played for them probably like about maybe 7, 8 times. And I take my hat off to them because I was playing the disco room. I mean, I'm playing disco funk. I mean, and it's wax too. We wasn't playing digital back then. That we was on wax. And
Mm-hmm.
and I played like an import, old school import mix. I played some Chicago, but pretty much ever since COVID, you know, it's I ain't got to tell you the story. It's the same there as it is here anywhere else. you know. But I'll never quit playing music. I might be an old phone with some 1200. You never know. I'm not gonna quit playing music unless you know that's what I love to do. You know, and
Yeah.
even before I started DJing, I love music.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Mike gave me two CDJs. These are CD
You
turntables,
still got
basically.
them things?
No, I asked you if one of my little nephews
Oh,
got
that's
them, man.
right.
And
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
been
that's
working
right.
on them.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I went ahead, but Mike set me back because, I was DJing. I had like some 12s when I was with my ex out in Indiana. And I used to, still kick it with the vinyl. And I would go over to Johnny Santiago's house to do mixes or kicking Kenny's, and I was still just play the
Like that.
old stuff. Yeah, Johnny's a great DJ and
Yeah,
he's a good
like
guy
that.
too. And I go over to Johnny's and I mix, and he said, "Man, you need to get some stuff." He said, "You're good, you're a great DJ, Rich, but get some stuff and really, do take it a little more seriously, man." He said, "Because you guys," he said, "the way we spin, you'll kill it." So I went and got the little record box and the Pioneer, and man, that was probably the best thing I did, man, because first off, I started, my first mix was still old school. I'm still, no UFOs and doing some throwback mixes. But when I started going on Track Source and listening to, and you would send me new music,
Uh-huh.
man, stuff is just so damn good. I mean, it's not just that era in the '90s. There was some good stuff that came out.
Yeah,
Strictly
yeah.
Rhythm had some good stuff that came out. Strictly Hype in Chicago, labels overseas. There was a lot of bad stuff that came out to people. There was a lot of times I wasn't vibing with nothing in the club, not talking about any genre particularly. Well, I'm going to leave that one alone. Because Mike know what I want to say. But I'm going to leave that alone. But I wasn't excited about any of the music in the '90s, really. So there was some good stuff, but it was, I mean, Masters at Work was making some great stuff. Don't get me wrong. The early 2000s, there was some good stuff coming out, but I say around 2012, I don't know what happened overseas, or maybe I just started paying attention. But man, some of the best music. I wish the music is so good. I wish I could take it back in time and play it at the parties because it's just very good house music, dance music, EDM, whatever you want to call it. It's just good music, you
I
know.
got a couple B96 stickers over here that never been used. If somebody want to cash out me, I'll let them have them.
And
And that's
B96,
true
man,
too.
B96. Look, I still say B96, and this is nothing against the B96 DJs. I know a lot of the guys that were on B96, Tim Spinnin, Shummer, all those dudes, Bobby D, great DJs. I like them. I like them as DJ, and they can get down. And I know they played the music that was being requested of them at the time, so I'm not blaming the DJs.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
program directors, though, they really did a disservice to Chicago house music. They killed the music, in my opinion. While we're playing bubblegum music, New York is getting down. I would go to the tunnel in New York and I was like, oh my, why aren't we playing any of this stuff? You know, and I'm not going to talk about how they was killing us overseas and still are. These guys are packing stadiums. We can't even pack a room, you know.
We even have a mix show here where I live. But you know
Wow.
what? I don't. I don't need one. Go ahead, keep your little clear channels and your little radio one. Go ahead and keep it. I can care less. You know.
I think we really need to discuss, um, you know, I think we need to discuss, and I'm gonna call you, and I'm gonna call Reggie. We need to discuss regard to satellite radio. We need to have a discussion about what needs to happen. Because like Mike has said about the old guys, the our supposed leaders in the Hot Mix Five, the Chicago leaders, the Chicago legends. They love calling themselves that. This like they're not doing what needs to be done. I think there's something that needs to be done. There was a show that was on Q101, Electric Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
That guy, one of my guys, Bucky Fargo, was on there, and I would listen to this guy's mixes because where I work at. I was working 11 to 7, and I throw his mixes on. This guy was killing it. I'm like, what is it? Who is this guy? I mean, he was, it was just he was playing new music, and he
Yeah.
was killing it. So I've friended him on Facebook. I've talked a couple times. I'm trying to get him to come on the show. Incredibly, but these guys need a platform, man. I mean, if we want the music to grow in Chicago, I mean, I talk to kids You know, in anybody under 30, you say house music, they like, oh, I don't listen to house music. And it should be embarrassing in Chicago because you got kids in New York listening to house music, you got kids in London listening to house music, you know, but B96 made it seem like it was a racial thing, number one. You know, black kids weren't messing with it because they would any of the music that would cater to black kids, they wasn't playing, you know, except for, you know, the more ghetto stuff, and nothing against the ghetto stuff, but it wasn't like the stuff that we was doing. You know what I'm saying? So you know, there wasn't that. It was just ghetto raunchy stuff because hip hop was ghetto and raunchy at that time. But there was none of the stuff that was getting played that Strictly Rhythm was making that was really soulful, like the Don and songs like that, or like even River Ocean by Masters at Work. That stuff wasn't getting played. It getting played all over the world, wasn't getting played here. You know, so it was just a bad situation.
But when you and Mike were talking last week, it never dawned on me because I would listen to B96 too, and I was just like, but it never dawned on me because it just never dawned on me. I just like, and when y'all pointed out, it's like, you know what, they right, you know. But even still, I was more or less over there listening to Edward Get Down Crosby. I would listen to Julian Perez and them sometimes, but you know,
But Ed was on GCI at the time, right?
huh?
Ed was on GCI at the time, wasn't
Edward Get Down Crosby, yeah,
he?
yeah.
Okay. And, you know, and I think that it killed the momentum when BMX went off the air. So I blame GCI too, because GCI gave us a house show for a minute, and then they switched up on us and went hip hop. You know, and don't get me wrong, I understand there's market concerns and everything, but you know, after that, there was really no dedication to the craft in Chicago.
I remember that when BMX went off, man, because a lot of times I would try to catch the mixes, record them. If I didn't have a brand new blank tape, whatever tape I had, if it was Crosby, Still Nash, put a little piece of paper down in, I'm recording over whatever they got.
Yeah,
And I remember the next week I was getting ready to record the show and there was nothing there.
I
You know,
remember I was on my way to Chicago. I don't know where we was going. We're in a car. We turn on BMX. Ain't nothing there. We're like, what the hell happened? Technical difficulty or something? Then they started running that old school R&B loop for. I'm like, what is happening? We find out that BMX is sold in station V103, and nothing against V103 people, but I'm telling you this much, man. I hated that moment. I hated listening. I wouldn't even listen to B103, man. At that point in time, there was not much on the radio. I wasn't listening to B96 because I was mad at them for a different reason. V103, I was mad because they y'all messed up a very good thing, and then GCI kind of went goofy into to just the hip hop. I'm like, oh, y'all gonna represent New York, but not represent Chicago. So I was done with Chicago radio in general at that time.
well, it wasn't shortly after that I left anyway. So
I left anyway. I was gone. You
I
know,
don't know what happened. 92 after 92, I come back and just to visit one day. One of the hottest records is Time for the Percolator, and I'm sitting there. I can tell you,
I'm
I
literally
played.
biting my lip right now. You know that, right?
Huh?
I'm literally gonna bite my lip and let you go ahead and say what you gotta say about it.
I played that record in one mix, and I played it at one party, and that's it. I've never played that mix out in public again. And truth be told, there's more than enough people playing it
Right.
without me playing it. So don't ask me to play it. The next guy is probably gonna play it, or the next three guys is probably gonna play. So, I'm about you know.
I'm gonna say this about Percolator. I came home around 92 ish from the Corps. I was with the reserve unit at the time, and I never played Percolator,
Yeah.
and I probably never will. No, I take it back. I played it one time because my sister asked me to play it at my niece's party. I played it. Another one was New. All right, let me tell y'all about that record. First off, the man is singing off. I don't even know how this became a hit record. Out of all the records from Chicago to come hit record, this one did. Detroit had Big Fun and Good Life, at least. We got New. Now, Mike's song, when they came out with Another Sleepless Night on Arista, That was a cut. Sean threw down. The production was point on tight. Neil threw down. Everybody threw down in that. New. I was like, when I saw, I was like, oh my god. Cool Rock Steady had made a song called Yolanda shortly at that time, playing with a group called Reality on Strictly New York, and it was a similar vibe, a superior song though. So yes, Cool Rock song, Reality song was superior to New because he was in key and his rap was on point and the beat was hitting,
Yeah,
but Nunu, I'm like, y'all gotta be kidding me, man. But none against Liddell Townsend. I know he did a lot of stuff for house music in Chicago, but that song, in my opinion, was horrible. But people gravitated to it. It was what it was. So
well, I, I don't know if I
and
got that one or not. I really don't. I don't
no, I
think.
don't. I think I gave that away. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, if I
but
was like you had a key word that Detroit, man,
yeah,
and you gotta love Detroit. Detroit is still Detroit, you
oh
know.
yeah. Well, Kevin Saunderson and Juan Atkins and Derek May. Those guys were incredible. I know they were using that Roland 626 drum machine. That was what gave them that different sound, I found. I went up
Okay.
to KMS Records a couple times and I met Kevin Saunderson up there. And it was, I was like, oh my God, it's Kevin Saunderson, but they had a nice setup in Detroit and they supported each other in a certain way. I think later on, who came from out there? I think Carl Craig. I think Mark Kitchen might be from there. But yeah, they got a nice little vibe in Detroit. Detroit techno, it's unique music. I had my little run when that's all I was playing.
Yeah.
That's all I was playing because it was just so much good stuff from there. And I'll always respect Detroit because those guys got down. They were inspired a lot by like Larry Heard and Adonis now, but they had their own take on it. They were also inspired by Kraftwerk and Man Parrish and them. So, they brought the electronic a certain way. But those labels when Transmet Records throws something out still it's usually cold, you know. And like I said, they have a good vibe in Detroit, man. I wish, like I said, I wish in Chicago, we get on point and get past holding on to 1988 and really get past all the because like I said, don't I do not want to hear another song talking about that Jack had a groove and Groove had a house. It's like, okay, we get it. I understand. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? But let's move on.
well, like the Mike Dunns and the Terry Hunters, them boys they doing some nice things, man. I'm always when I see they got something out, I'm always checking them out. But they making the music. The problem is who's playing it. You know, that might be the problem. And truth be told, like you said, it's time for some young DJs to come take over too. But if people, you know, it's a sad reality that they will come up and ask you to play that stuff.
Hmm.
And come on, people, don't y'all want something new? But if that's you got to keep them happy, but even too, you got to start slipping some new music in there too.
Slip something in. Don't get me wrong, people. As a DJ, if I'm playing and I know I got a crowd that's in old school, I'm gonna play what they want to hear. I'm gonna play it my way, but I'm gonna play what they want to hear. But at the same time, what we're challenging Chicago DJs to do is to slip in them new songs that go with what you're playing. You don't got to live in 1988. You ain't got to live in disco. You ain't got it. Just play good music. You guys are the ones supposed to have the ear for something new and good to introduce to the people to keep it moving forward. And if you don't, let the young DJs do it then, because there's a lot of young good DJs out there that playing some real good stuff that y'all won't even allow a platform, and that's also killing us too. You
Yeah,
know.
that's like that new Tin City. I like that. I think it's I don't know if it's Immaculate or Maurice Joshua or one of them has something to do with it, but the new Tin City is nice.
Yeah, download the new Tin City.
Did
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Byron
Okay.
Byron Stingley's new Tin City song. It's great. You
Yeah.
know. And Byron, last time I saw Byron Stingley, he's a friend on Facebook. I went to Hot Mix Five reunion party a few years back at the McCormick place, and I went up there, and they all had rooms. And Farley had a room. and Mickey had a room, and Ralphie had a room. And the coldest room was Mickey's room. Mickey was killing everything. I'm like, Mickey mixing Hollywood was going. And then I walked this. Let me see what they're doing in Farley's room. And Byron was singing.
Uh-huh.
He was singing Sylvester's song, "You Make Me Feel." Only
Yeah.
Byron Stingley is probably the only person that could get away with singing that song without the crowd booing them, and he sang it cold. I mean, he sang it so cold. I mean, he sang that bad boy, and it was on point. Byron Stingley is probably one of the most underrated vocalists I've ever heard. He is. I knew we know he has his hit records and success, but the man is incredible. And like with me and Hitman, we're talking about. A lot of Chicago vocalists were just cold. Kevin Irving, incredible, ended up with Club Nouveau. Daryl Pandy, powerful vocalist. Rick Dillard, he's still singing gospel. The man was cold back then. Sean Christopher, incredible vocalist. She sang and just got down. We could go down the line. There were so many incredible vocalists from Chicago that some of them got their place, some of them really did. But these were all some incredible vocalists, man.
And
And
and I don't.
Kim Mazel.
Okay.
Yeah, give it to Kim Mazel, even though a lot of people don't know she did the Chicago House, because I think she got with Soul to Soul. People, you look at her
Really?
Wikipedia, yeah, you look at her Wikipedia article, and it starts with that. I went in and re-edited it and said, no, she did these songs, Taste My Love. When she did Taste My Love with Marshall, that was cool. We still get away with playing that. That's one of them songs that we can continue to play right now. Unlike a song like "Music Is a Key," nothing against Steve Hurley and them, but Steve, you can play "Music Is a Key" for an old school set. You can play "Taste of My Love" or "Essence of a Dream," and you can play them right now. And the crowd a new crowd that likes house music will love it. And that's that you want to make them type of timeless songs. You know.
Are still sampling that "Taste My Love." You know that the when you listen to the background music,
hmm
I got a record I just downloaded a week ago that has that same background.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah. Tell
and I
Marshall so
played
he can
like
get his
two
money from
other
the sample.
songs. Uh-huh.
hmm We need to tell Marshall so he can get his money from the samples.
I hope he's getting something from it. You
Yeah.
know,
Cause but you're right. Those songs are still sampled and they're still played, man. But that, like I said, again, I go to that as the pinnacle of Chicago homemade house music was Taste My Love and Essence of a Dream. Those are homegrown songs played by Chicago artists, no samples, all original music, and it captured the essence. That's why songs like Mike's song, Another Sleepless Night, that's why it was so cold. There were no samples in Another Sleepless Night. It was a doom, 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 the beat was moving and it captured the essence of Chicago house music. So and there's other songs that did that, like Fast Steady when he made Acid Thunder. Man, Acid Thunder, man, he
yeah,
killed it with Acid Thunder. And Sean Christopher
Holy
was
Dance is
singing in
nice
that one
too.
too. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you,
So
you, if you hear that "Can You Dance," I always just ride.
Can You Dance? Oh my God. That dun, dun, dun. Every version of that was cold. Even the vocal version. That was Sean Christopher singing the vocal version of that too.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
because I played the vocal version of "Can You Still Dance?" That well, and she'll sing, and that again, underrated artist, man. And then of course Paris Gray, even though she was on KMS Records and Virgin and she's a member of Inner City, Josh, and she gets with the Detroit guys. She is from Chicago too. That's one of ours. So Big Fun is a Chicago vocalist, and Good Life is a Chicago vocalist. She's from Chicago, so we're gonna have to claim that. Hope I don't get no emails from Kevin Sampson, but yeah, we claiming that.
it'd be
We'll
all
share
right.
we'll share that with Detroit.
Yeah,
So. But anyway, Mike, we were rambling here before we get to really talk about people and have people looking for us.
I know.
We gonna go ahead, man. Close us out, man. Tell us, what you want to tell us, and again, I'm gonna say we all gonna be spending the summer. Come over and check us out. We're gonna promote the hell out of it. Like I said, it's a good event. The music's good as a Chosen Few picnic, if not better. I'm saying better, except I don't want Mike Dunn to come see me. But the rest of them, except
Oh,
for Mike Dunn, the rest of them, except Mike Dunn, I'll say y'all get down, but we get down too. Mike Dunn get down. That's the only one I might not pull it with, try to battle with my battle zone because Mike is cold.
man, don't
Mike
have the
started
guys
with
come
us.
out there after us, man.
Yeah,
Shoot, man.
yeah. But I get with him. I don't know if I fade him, but I get with him. But the rest of them I'll fade. But Mike Dunn, I can get with. That's it. The rest of them I'll take any day of the week, twice on Sunday. Yeah, I said any day of the week, twice on Sundays. Every chosen few DJ, I will fade you. All right, I'm still there. I'm still in battle mode. I respect y'all immensely, but I will fade y'all. But except for Mike. Um, and Hot Mix Five reunion, they have their party yearly. And I always have respect for the Hot Mix Five guys. I'm never gonna say,
Yeah,
you know, uh, those guys are, that was if it was gang banging, that would have been my set. Hot Mix Five guys, you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. And don't get me wrong, I'm kind of kidding with the chosen few guys. I always
yeah.
rub them,
Well,
because
we don't want to take them off, man.
no,
There's
no,
people
they're great DJs, man. Don't
yeah,
get me
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
They're great DJs. You know, I just
I won't
wish,
knock them. I won't knock them if that's the frequency level you're on. Hey, go ahead, get
yeah, they're
down.
great DJs, man. And the
Yeah,
only reason why I say stuff is because there's some conversations where they don't know I spin, or they don't know how long I've spun, and they've said some slick things, and I'm like, okay, I bet you won't say that on some 12s in front of your crowd, and I'm still putting it out there. So if y'all want to say that y'all better than raw DJs, you're welcome. Like what's it Doc Holliday from Tombstone.
Tuesday,
I'm your Huckleberry. Y'all want to try the raw DJ? Try me.
they win. They win.
Yeah, say when. I'll come out and spin for y'all. Y'all have a good time. It'd be all a good fun. But we're doing our event. Like I said, our event, the House in the Park out in Aurora. We'll put up we'll put up the flyer. We'll be getting it out there. We would love to see all y'all out there. Coming out, enjoy the music, enjoy the weather, enjoy the fun. And after this year being locked down, I think we all need to go to all of them. We need to go to Chosen Few Picnic,
Yeah.
Hot Mix Five reunion, Aurora House Festival, our House in the Park. Get out, enjoy everything, and have a good time. But go ahead, Mike. Go ahead and close us out.
Well, hey, I want to let you close it, man. Hey, I'll play some music and get us on out there. Play some country music, you know.
Oh Lord Jesus. Mike is not gonna play country music at the house at the park, okay,
I
y'all?
don't do the country music. I'm gonna start making country music, man.
Get-
We got
get-
too many DJs going to guitar centers putting us out of business. I'm gonna start playing country music.
I'm gonna say this though, man, because I said some real trash talking stuff about DJs. I'm gonna say this about the guys that I spend with Reggie and Kenny and Daryl Robinson and with Johnny Santiago and with Richard Jimenez and and Tito Hernandez and Tito. I'm gonna tell you this, yeah. These guys, I am always intimidated when I mix with these guys because I genuinely enjoy listening to the mix because they're that good, and I learn something from them all the time. So I'm like, man, this I kind of go back to my old ways, and like I'm always anxious to impress them because they always these guys are incredible. And when you're talking about Reggie and Daryl Robinson and Mike here, these guys, like I said, these truly are my mentors. These are guys that really showed me stuff. Even when I was competing, I used to compete with Daryl a lot. But even
Mhm.
then, he'd sit me down, like, this is what you need to be doing. This is how you need to be blending. This is how you need to be playing, and kind of, school me on some things. And I appreciate that. I always appreciate that about you guys.
You know, one thing though, everybody you mentioned, nobody plays the same.
No, we don't play the same at all.
It's,
We might
yeah,
play a couple records that we all like, but overall, when we're mixing, who's
mhm,
mixing, you
yeah.
know?
But the thing too, if I know you played that record, I ain't gonna come up and play it.
No, that's
You
out of
know,
rotation right after you play it. For
you
that
know,
for that party. Yeah, for
yeah.
that party, you know. And I think that's good because we like playing new music.
Yeah, it's all
And
about you know.
yeah,
And,
but I just want to say shout out to Kicking Kenny from
yeah,
Aurora, Kicking
watch
Kenny.
Kenny.
Yeah, Kicking Kenny Cahill. Let
Kenny
me be
Kenny and
clear.
Elgin too. You
Yeah,
still got your butt whooped.
Kicking Kenny from Belgium. Uh, to Kicking Kenny, to my Reggie Chandler. Thank you for always supporting and letting us be on your show. Um, who else? Daryl Robinson, thank you for always bringing cold and good, smooth mixes. Richard Jimenez, I enjoy listening to you guys. I know I missed somebody's name. Don't be offended. But Tito,
And
uh,
Elazar, yeah.
Elazar, Elazar's cold. Um,
Randy.
Randy, of course, Randy Hansen. What's that guy? Craig. I forgot his last name.
I can't
Uh,
remember his last
yeah,
name.
Craig. I apologize, man, but I
Friday
enjoy.
night guy.
Yeah,
Friday
yeah.
night Craig. That's what we call him. We
But
call him
I
Friday night
enjoy,
Craig.
and then of course, just shout out to all my guys, Patrick, Wayne, Shay, and Angel, Feliciano. I'm gonna have you guys on, man. I'm gonna let you guys come on and talk about the music and talk about what you love and talk about what you brought to it because yes, there was a Hot Mix 5 that pushed it and B96 that pushed it and WBMX that pushed it, but without those of us that are playing the music on this ground level, it wouldn't have moved anywhere. So that's why I like having these discussions. But that's all I'm gonna say about that.
All right. That's all I got to say too, man. We're gonna have to get on out of here because I'm an hour different, so
Oh yeah, it's time for you to go to sleep.
yeah, man, hell, we getting old, man. It gets a little,
Hmm.
11 o'clock the new midnight for us.
Oh man, we stay up
But
4 or 5 o'clock at
music
night
now. We
mixing.
play music all night now. But if
Yeah,
we ain't doing it,
yep. And the next day I'm out. Well, tomorrow I'm gonna have Jesse Della Pena. Speaking
yeah,
of
check it
legendary
out.
Chicago DJs,
What
Jesse
time you
Della
coming
Pena.
on tomorrow?
We're coming on at 8 o'clock tomorrow, and
Okay.
Jesse Della Pena, another very very cold, incredible DJ. He started in the house days with us in Chicago, but he also plays hip hop, and he's a cold hip hop DJ too. He's known throughout the country, across the world actually. So we're gonna have Jesse on. It's gonna be a good show. Looking forward to seeing all of y'all tomorrow night. And Mike, we'll talk later. And it's good to have a conversation with you.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm gonna have the guys on. So looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. And God bless you. Be safe and have a nice week. Peace.
All right. God bless you too, bro.